Hey, New Release Today. This is Phil Joel here, talking about my new book, Redwoods in Wales. So my story in writing this book, the story behind it, as I mentioned a little earlier, I came across a whale on a beach in Northern California, and then I also found myself the next day in the redwood forest amongst these beautiful redwood trees. And these trees, if you've been in that forest, are magnificent. They're awesome. They're just kind of mind-blowing. And this particular road I was on ran alongside a river, the Navarro River. And these trees, they grow alongside this river, and their roots run deep, and they drink from that river, and they grow tall together. And here was me in my little rental car driving in this forest, and these trees were providing shade for me. They're actually kind of useful, if you will. And to me, that was just God just casting vision for how he wants us to live, his way of us, his vision for our lives, which we find in Jeremiah 17:7-8. Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose hope is in him. He'll be like a tree planted by the river with his roots running deep. And when the heat comes, he won't be afraid. And in the year of drought, he will not be anxious, but rather his leaves will get greener and he'll bear much fruit. That's just kind of awesome. That's us. That's our lives. That's the vision that God has for our lives, that no matter what happens, when the heat comes, we can still be green. We can stay fresh. We can stay alive because our roots are running deep and we're drinking from the good stuff, which is him. He is the source of life, and in this, at the same time, we will bear fruit. We'll become more loving, more peaceful, more patient, gentle, kind, self-controlled people. That's the fruit of God in our lives. And if we're not experiencing those things, and if we're not growing in those things, then often that can be an indicator that maybe we're drinking from the wrong places. Maybe we're looking for life in places that are actually making us sicker. So in this book, I wrote that story down. I just felt the Lord say, hey, write the story down about these trees and this whale. And then I began to continue to write. And it was like connecting the dots. And I felt that the Lord was sort of showing me how sometimes things in our lives that maybe are making us feel uncomfortable can actually be indicators that we're looking for something more and maybe not finding it, but it's truly available. So this book opens up some big questions and asks some big questions of some of the big issues in our time right now. Social media is massive, and a lot of people are losing their way in the midst of the social media jungle. But I would say it's okay. Maybe it's an indicator that we're looking for something more and that something more is available. The over-sexualization of our culture, pornography is everywhere, and it's promising something that it is not delivering. It cannot bring satisfaction at all. Only God can. So the book hopefully asks some big questions and provides some solutions and some practical applications to finding a way out of the jungle into the forest maybe, and getting back on course with the Lord and beginning to breathe deep again.